Oh, what fun. The Jazz get blasted by Phoenix on Halloween, and it's a horror show. And then Will Hardy absolutely blows up the lineup and the rotation. We're talking about it, what it means, what happened next on POSTCAST. David Locke along with Ron Boone, and there's two storylines tonight. One is the Jazz are down 20 at the end of one, and the Suns go up by 24. And then storyline number two, and I think these are related, that basically, other than the last 2 minutes of garbage time, Kyle Filipowski, Bryce Sensabaugh, Taylor Hendricks, and Walter Clayton do not play the second half of this game tonight.
Not to the last minute or two.
Will Hardy has sent a huge salvo over the bow of a bunch of people about how this season's going to work.
Yeah, mistakes. And basically that's exactly what it is. And it's not so much on the offensive end. It's more on the defensive end now that he's the riot act on these guys. Either you're going to get it right or you're not going to play.
I mean, I think it was really just a fairly feckless performance by the Jazz to start. They had 9 turnovers in the first quarter tonight. They shot 7 of 19, 3 of 10 from 3. They did not go to the free throw line. They had 1 offensive rebound, which is how they've been surviving. And they were down 37-17 at the end of one.
So you think, David, that the aggressive play here, and you got a taste of it against Portland, and you were wondering if this is going to, that kind of defense is going to travel around the league versus the Jazz, and we might be seeing a little bit of that.
For those of you who are wondering, if you don't recall, this has happened every time we've been here. I mean, like we literally brought the Jackets to knowing it was going to happen. There's an air conditioning unit that is above us right there, and it blows down, and it actually blows cold air right on the back of our necks. So you actually need a ski hat or a hoodie if you're going to stay in this broadcast site.
And it's not just us. Our engineer, Colleen,
well, the first time
radio announcers down there.
The first time we came here like 4 years ago, we got to the seats, and the season ticket holders behind us all had blankets and sweaters and jackets and hats. And we were like, uh-oh. And we were wearing,
right, 90 degrees outside.
So we now know to have those things. So,
yeah.
All right. If I'm a fan, and you can't answer this question, but my job is to represent the fans sometimes. Sometimes I do it well. Sometimes I do it badly. Like, I want to know what's next. Like, I'm actually pretty curious for Sunday in Charlotte. Like, I'm pretty curious to go to shoot around on Sunday. We don't have practice tomorrow. We fly tomorrow. Like, I'm curious. Will Hardy was furious after the game the other night. His post-game press conference, he laid into them. Like, he opened it up and just laid into them. There's a few different questions I have here, Ron. First of all, how many times can he do that? Or does he just keep doing it here early on because he's establishing this and this is the way it's going to be?
Well, he's got to keep doing it going forward. At least you get to a point where, and then you have a very good idea of what kind of personnel he has, what kind of players he has, when you can play these players, and I think more importantly, David, is what players can handle certain situations out there on the floor. Meaning, the way Portland played the Jazz the other night. I mean, what players get riled to the point where they can't play their game against something like this? This is a three-point shooting team, the Phoenix Suns, and they shoot it very, very well. What kind of mistakes were that was Clayton making, that Filipowski was making out there on the floor that they could not get on the floor in the second half? So Will's got a tough job.
Yeah.
He has a very tough job right now trying to win basketball games, but grow the young players to the point where they're NBA players. And do you do it tastefully, or are you going to have to turn into one of those coaches where you're going, one of those?
I almost feel like some of this goes back to that press conference last year when Will Hardy said, just because you're starting first right now does not mean you're an NBA starter.
Such a great point. Yes.
And I feel like maybe that was a weird press conference because that was not the question he was asked. And so that was a very clear moment of frustration, Will, like 74 games into the season. It was pretty late in the year. And I wonder if some of that frustration is leaking into this season, that he had to go through a year last year where by the end he had guys acting like they belonged when they didn't, and he wants to make sure it's perfectly clear this year that that's not how this works.
I think so. I totally agree with that. And maybe I can add to that. Does he think, or do we think he has more than what's been giving out there on the floor? Meaning, how talented of a team do we have, and are we playing up to that potential?
Right. All right, Del Toledo is a guy who's always in our chat room, and so I greatly appreciate that for him. I will admit, I usually think that Del Toledo is insane and has the craziest takes I've ever heard. But this one's interesting to me. Our centers have a turnover problem. Through 5 games, Kessler has 16 turnovers. Nurkic has 16. Now, I don't know about the time for the backup center, but let's address this for a second. We are asking an awful lot out of our centers. That was a huge part of the pregame. The Jazz do different stuff with it, and they play these guys, and the ball is in Kessler's and Nurkic's hands a lot, and they have to make a lot of decisions.
More than usual.
And This is not a natural thing for them. They are not Nikola Jokic. And tonight, Yusuf Nurkic was on pace for a triple-double with turnovers. He had 6 turnovers, and I think Walker had 3.
Walker has 3. Yes.
So that's 9 of our unacceptable 21 turnovers were from our centers.
Nurkic has 5.
Oh, they took 1 away from Nurkic. So that was by the way, that's the steal.
Kessler with 3.
So what's your thought on whether we're putting too much of a burden on the centers, or if we're going to play that way, we're just going to have to accept that they turn it over?
That's the point right there. And it's well taken there by what's the guy's name?
Del Toledo.
Yeah, it's well taken by him.
By the way, the next time he has insane takes, I'm going to put him up here just so you know I'm not being unfair.
But he does have a great point, and with him not realizing that the goal of this team right now, most centers in the league, a lot of them are the outlet guys, meaning you get caught in a difficult position. Your relief guy is the center in the middle of the floor, up above the free throw line or somewhere in there, and then you can get back in to some part of your offense. The Jazz are trying to play some of that. And you notice that the first 2 ball games of the year, Nurkic was the one that was doing more of it because he's considered to be one of those very good passers. But that's going to, if that's a problem, then Will's going to have to address that.
All right, I'm going to give you a really bad case scenario right now, and I want to know what to do about it, okay? I'm going to be a super negative for a second, okay? Kyle Filipowski cannot guard in space. No. I'm just saying these things as though they're true, but I'm not sure they all are, okay? No. But let's go with it. Kyle Filipowski is not a good enough defensive player in space. Bryce Sensabaugh is not a good enough defender in space. Taylor Hendricks has not played for a year and is just not totally all the way back or ready to play.
And ready probably more than anything.
Right.
If
that's the case, Tim Kempton, nice to see you. God, your hands are cold. It's freezing up here. Freezing. Thanks. Does every announcer do this, or are we the only ones that remember?
I'm surprised the Utah guys are doing it.
Well, we got plenty of jackets, so we know what to do. Here, look. Like, Kempton's the hometown guy.
But look at the big coat he has on.
He's got a big coat on. Like, we're not making this crap up.
It's cold here.
See, you're the best. When do we see you?
Not till
Do
March.
you come in Ski Town?
No, we don't. That was our only visit.
Oh, that's awful.
We're back in March, I think. And
that's awful. Let me know about All-Star break. I think I might be solo. I think somebody else will be going to warm weather Arizona. I'll be playing skiing. All right. I'm just going to be super, negative for a second. So let's just assume Kyle Filipowski can't guard in space. Let's assume that Bryce Sensabaugh can't guard in space. Let's assume that Taylor Hendricks is just really not ready to play yet. Let's assume that Walt Clayton really isn't ready to guard in space. Then what does Will Hardy do?
Great point. What do you do? I mean, do you just ride with it, or also go back to the thought of the comment anyway that he made in the meeting we had? You remember? What's the primary defense going to be?
Yeah. Do we ever go back to we're going to play a lot of zone. We haven't done it yet.
And they have not done it yet. So maybe that's something that they're going to have to do if they're going to protect certain guys or protecting certain space out there on the floor. But then on the other hand, you can't let guys get lazy to the point where they don't want to want to defend.
I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah.
And maybe this is what Austin Ainge needs to find out. On the 4 guys we just talked about, I got to be honest. I don't know if they can defend.
Good point.
I just don't know if they actually have the skills and the athleticism to defend like that. Taylor may have at one point, but he's coming off a year of not playing.
Yeah.
Like
he's more of a rookie right now.
Right. He has almost regressed back to being a rookie after not playing for you and having to rebuild his whole leg. Like, let's just realize, like, he had a Paul George, Gordon Hayward injury. Those guys were all-stars when they had the injury. He had played 40 NBA games. So he's just got a long way to go. And so I think we saw that tonight. And I'm going to be curious. I just downloaded the first quarter to go watch it. I am super curious because I will be honest. I thought we were terrible, but I thought everyone was terrible. I didn't particularly notice that those guys, and maybe Will's sending a message, you can't actually bench all 10 of them. But I thought, actually, if I'm being totally transparent, I thought Ace Bailey was the worst player on the floor in that stretch. He was just so fast all over the place, did make some decent defensive plays, and maybe that was Will's point. Like, I don't care that you were awful offensively. I only care that what you're doing defensively right now. And he actually did do some things decently with his length, so we'll see. I don't know.
Well, got some young guys that are long ways away.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, what did you think of Kyle Anderson, Cody Williams, and Elijah Harkless, who got the minutes?
I like Harkless because he's a fighter, and he just gets after you defensively, takes pride in it, that type of thing. And then Cody needs minutes. How do you get those minutes? He has to. It's just, I don't know. It's so hard right now to. Yeah, it's just too hard.
Cody has been playable the last two nights, which is good.
15 minutes tonight, 3 for 6. I mean, and the numbers that he doesn't necessarily mean the floor game.
Right.
So.
All right. Well, really interesting night, right? You got beat by Phoenix, and you've got this. And then I think Sunday is going to be, I am fascinated to see, like, are we having a starting lineup change? Because there was a pretty quick poll in the game the other night, too, on Kyle. Are we having a rotation change or are we not? And that part of the learning is I am going to pull you on nights like this, but I am still going to love you afterwards and give you another opportunity. This is a very interesting moment in what is going in a year that is, we're going to see what happens. We have now, by the way, trailed. This is my own personal thing. Everyone who listens to my show knows this. The number one thing I look at in the season, in the first 20 games of the year and 25, 30 games a year, is how many times do you trail by 20? The good teams never trail by 20, and the bad teams do all the time. And it's really the best way to figure out what's about to happen the rest of the year. We have now trailed by 20 in 2 straight. Phoenix has trailed by 24 times this year, Brooklyn 4 times, but not many other teams have trailed more than twice by 20 this year. It's a little bit of it's a tough indicator. Also, the best teams never trail by 20. Our good Jazz teams that we had under Quinn led the league in games, least amount of games trailed by 20. They never trailed by 20, and they had best record in the NBA in 1 or 2 of those years. All right. That, my friends, is a wrap on a pretty interesting night. Hope you've had a wonderful Halloween. We appreciate you tuning in. I might post something somewhere if I find anything I think is really interesting while rewatching the first and second quarter tonight.
So I think Keontae's probably the only one. He was the only one with a plus minus.
Oh, we're not giving
3.
Lowry a note for 33.
Lowry minus 10. He had 33.
He's only minus 8.
Minus 8. So if anything, Lowry and Keontae.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
By the way, just in case you didn't have a box score, Bryce Sensabaugh, 5 minutes minus 6. Taylor Hendricks, 5 minutes minus 18. Walt Clayton, 8 minutes minus 22. Kyle Filipowski, 10 minutes minus 10. That would be the reason that they did not play in the second half. All right. That wraps us. Interesting night. Have a great one. Thanks for tuning in.